about 20 minutes in 1989. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 1977, 1953, somewhere around there. Todd Herman is going to be here tomorrow, the great Todd Herman, and there is a possibility of awesomeness. Do we have the official percentages on the chances of Todd being awesome tomorrow? Really? I thought it would be way higher than that. Nah, I'm just kidding, Todd. Todd Herman here tomorrow, and then Rush comes back, and you know your chances of awesomeness are 100%, because that's how it goes. Yesterday, Rush boiled it all down when he said there is no plan B.
Our last caller, plan A, plan B. If we lose, what are you going to... There is no plan B if plan B equals losing. We are not going to lose. And I'm not going to tolerate anybody out there thinking we're going to lose. If you think we're going to lose, then you keep it to yourself, but you do your best to outclass that and overcome that. We're not going to lose. The American country, American people are not going to lose. You got it?
I got it. And that's your marching orders too, because you get it. We're not going to lose. There's plan A. Plan A is winning. There's no plan B. Now, the head fakery isn't even sophisticated at the moment. Yesterday, Rush was telling you about that NBC poll that showed Biden 14 points ahead. Today we have a CNN poll that shows Biden's lead has increased since yesterday. He's now 16 points ahead. 16 points ahead. That would be the biggest victory since Nixon in 1972. Nixon over McGovern in 1972. So you understand that. If this 16 points ahead thing is true, in 1972, Nixon won 49 states. So Joe Biden is on course for a 49-state landslide, according to this CNN poll. These polls are soaring. They've burst the bounds of reality. They're now soaring into Banana Republic territory. Hosni Mubarak, not long before he was deposed, so I'd be going back about 10, 12 years ago, the last election he quote-unquote contested, and the Egyptian Electoral Commission did its usual fine work, and, well, actually better than usual, because Mubarak was furious. He was furious because they'd made him win by 97% or whatever, and he thought that made him look ridiculous to the Americans and to the West, and it made him look like one of those joke dictators like Saddam or Emperor Bokassa. And that's basically the territory Joe Biden. If you believe the CNN poll, this is going to be the biggest electoral victory since Richard Nixon took 49 states in 1972. If Joe Biden was 16 points ahead, he wouldn't be campaigning in Pennsylvania. That's where he is today. Jill's let him out of the basement and they put him on the leash and they're going to walk him around Pennsylvania for a bit. He wouldn't be campaigning in Pennsylvania if he thought he was 16 points ahead. He'd be campaigning in Wyoming. But that's where he's going to be today, Pennsylvania, in Gettysburg, if you're near. And this may be historic because Joe Biden is actually going to be giving a Gettysburg address, whatever that comes out as with Joe. 4,070,000 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation conceived in leg hairs, dedicated to the proposition that, come on, man, you know the thing. The social distancing, as well, all the COVID rules, since Trump got the COVID, we've now got COVID regulation on steroids. We've been told that the social distance, it's not 6 feet anymore. It can move more than that. We're going to have 20 feet social distancing. Tomorrow, the vice presidential debate, there will be plexiglass dividers on the stage. Trump is being criticized for not wearing a mask outdoors on a balcony far above the ground, because Trump standing there doing his Mussolini thing, as they were saying, all the great Mussolini-sized droplets of moisture are raining down on the benighted people of Washington, D.C. Jake Tapper is now tweeting photos of himself wearing a mask in an empty room just in case he accidentally should infect himself. I personally now wear a face mask in the shower, and I put one on the shower head too, just so it seems as if I've got some company in there. There's only one reason that we're doing all this. They're keeping the lockdown going, they're keeping the COVID theatre going and exaggerating it because it's the perfect cover to steal the election. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. That's why it has to be kept going, and it has to be accelerated until November the 4th, because it provides the perfect reason why we cannot have a normal election. It's the perfect cover for stealing the election, for keeping the counting going 4 months, 5 months until late spring or whatever. The balcony scene yesterday, which was spectacular, loved it. And Michael Beschloss, you know, he's this telly historian who's been, I think he's on CNN, been on CNN, he's on all the networks. He's the historian who doesn't know any history. And he goes, you know, we don't have balcony scenes with our leaders because that's what they do in authoritarian countries. You know, it's only Mussolini who needs a balcony, which isn't actually true. Charles and Diana on the balcony, William and Catherine, William and Kate, and Harry and Meghan, they were all balcony types too. Not a whiff of the Mussolini about any of them, but, you know, balconies have their uses for leaders that are not just for the jutting jaw fascistic leader staring at the far horizon thing. But he's an idiot. And Michael Beschloss, who's one of these stupefyingly respectable people who make so much public commentary in this country so unutterably tedious that you just want to put a bullet in your brain. If he'd done 30 seconds Googling, Michael Beschloss, the historian who doesn't know any history, could have seen the Obamas on the balcony multiple times, the Carters on the balcony, the Roosevelts on the balcony. Joy Reid of MSNBC said Trump's standing there, quote, as if he's a member of the old Russian Tsar family, unquote. God help us. Joy Reid, if you don't know the name of the old Russian Tsar family, maybe you should just ease up on the whole historical analogy thing entirely. By the way, I gather MSNBC's running a new competition. If you're an MSNBC viewer and you call 1-800-MSNBC-NUTS, you know the name of the old Russian Tsar family, you could win a fully loaded Prius. That's but it's not. Don't call us. It's an MSNBC thing. 1-800-NBC-NUTS. And it's the old Russian Tsar family. If you know the name of that, and you can tell Joy Reid the name of the old Russian Tsar family, then you could win the fully loaded MSNBC Prius. God help us from this kind of commentary. They've flown the coop in the last couple of days. I want to kind of sort of apologize. I was on TV with Tucker Carlson on Friday, just after the president was helicoptered to Walter Reed, and it was a kind of fearful moment to me, because it was the October surprise to end them all, and because, as I mentioned to Tucker, my old chum Boris Johnson over at Westminster had gotten the COVID, and he's never recovered from it, either physically or psychologically, and as a result, Her Britannic Majesty's government has never recovered from him getting the COVID either. And so when the president started tweeting and doing these woozy hospital room videos, I didn't really like it. But I have to say that return to the White House yesterday evening was magnificent, magnificent. And I know it's all slightly bonkers because he's hopped up on the steroid they're giving him. And you know, if you've ever been around anyone with, if you've ever had a steroid or been around people with a steroid, you know how it works when it's just some 70-pound milksop getting sand kicked in his face on the beach and they pump him up with the steroid. And I would have bet that Trump would have been an exception to the rules. You can't put Trump on a steroid. Trump is a steroid. Better off putting a steroid instead of putting a steroid into Trump, you'd be better off putting Trump into a steroid. You know, this steroid seems a bit wan and listless and under the weather. Let's pump some Trump into him. Yet they actually put Trump on a great big steroid. And the media are believing, oh, this steroid can have a lot of unpredictable side effects. We have to invoke the 25th Amendment. Yeah, it has some unpredictable side effects, and we saw them yesterday evening on the balcony. This steroid has made Trump Trumpier. So he's like there on the balcony. I haven't felt like this in 20 years. Shoot me some more of the COVID. Stick it in my veins. I eat it for breakfast. Screw your French toast. Give me the COVID toast. And it was magnificent. It was magnificent, and it made all their heads exploded. And he said this. He said this, quote, I learned so much about coronavirus. One thing that's for certain, don't let it dominate you. Don't be afraid of it, unquote. And they went bananas, the media, and they said this was grossly irresponsible. But we have now had, getting on for 7 months, in America and around the Western world, not so much, you know, in the non-Western world. If you want to be in sub-Saharan Africa or the Pacific Islands, life goes on. But throughout the Western world, we have all now been dominated by COVID, living in fear of it for 7 months. It has destroyed normal life, and there is a reason for that. And Trump is quite right to say this is no way to live. And if the Democrats, with their confidence of being 16 points ahead in a CNN poll, want this election to be about COVID, then let's make it about COVID. Let's make it actually about that issue, about the right to live, about the choice between living in fear or actually living as free peoples. You know, risk-averse societies, there are risks to anything. There's a risk the minute you get out of bed in the morning, and the risk increases when you open your front door. And that's before the risk of crossing the street or all the other risks we take every day. And a risk-averse society is a dying society. To live like Joe Biden has lived for the last 6 months is a dying society. To live the way many other parts of the world have lived, the Australian state of Victoria, where the government permits you to leave the house only for 1 hour of exercise per day for months on end. This is not a free society or a society, it's a society that's lost the spark of life. A risk-averse society is a dying society, and it will die a lot quicker than you think. So if the Democrats and Jake Tapper and the media want to make this an election about COVID, then let's have an election about COVID, about the truth about the disease, about the truth about the lockdown, and about the basic primal human urge to live in the sunlight. Mark Steyn for Rush, lots more still to come.
Now, watch Rush on the DittoCam on your big screen Apple TV. Download the free Rush TV app in the Apple TV App Store. You'll get Rush's free video selections. And Rush 24/7 members get even more. Archived DittoCam footage and the radio show live stream. You can upgrade to a Rush 24/7 membership in the Rush Apple TV app or at rushlimbaugh.com.
You're listening to the EIB Network. You're listening to Rush Limbaugh on Talk Radio 560 KSFO.
Owning a home is still a very worthwhile investment, and it's never been easier. American Financing can help you. Buying a home allows you to benefit from appreciation in home values. It means the money you invest will provide you with a significant long-term return. As you prepare to start your journey along the path of home ownership, we suggest working with American Financing. They're a family-owned national mortgage banker known for personalizing the lending experience. So you get one-on-one attention from application through closing. Whether you are a first-time buyer or moving to something bigger or looking to purchase